bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. I'm here. That's what happens when I'm texting, chatting, tweeting during the beginning of the show. Hopped into the bunker a little late tonight. It's all good. Because I have my Fade to Black blend. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. That's right. Today's Thursday, March 16th. 75 days into the new year, just 290 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, deep underground. You can't find us. People have tried. They've scoured, but you're not going to do it. I'll give you a hint, though. Look for a large parking structure. There you go. That'll help. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Thursday, which means it's Fadernight, which means Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. We got that going for us. And that's going to be at the bottom of the hour, of course. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. All right. Everybody get comfortable. Welcome to everybody that is in the bunker cam right now because, we've got it all set up. You become a Fadernight. And it's very simple to do. If you can hear my voice right now, just go over to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the membership area. You've got 4 levels of membership right there, right? Becoming a Fadernight is free. It's free. And on Thursday nights right now, because you are a Fadernight, you get the bunker cam, right? That's part of membership. That's part of being a part of this family. So you've got the bunker cam. All right, and then you can just go and choose the membership that you want after that. I just got an email right before the show tonight, so I just want to be very clear on this. When I me personally, tested the system when we launched the membership area, flawless, right? But I get it, and I thought, wow, this is just too easy. We've actually designed this thing, and Drew especially, design this thing. It just works so easy. It's so easy. But, I get it. Sometimes if you just click on the wrong thing or you do one thing out of step, you're not lock, sync, boom, done. You're screwed up. All right. So, I get that. And I just got this really cool email. Dude, man, this password, man, it's that password that we send you as soon as you sign up, and everything goes through, and you get that email, that password, that crazy, complicated, crazy-ass password, that's a temporary password, all right? And I realize there's no way to remember that. Cut and paste that and log in. And as soon as you log in with that crazy, complicated password, change it. Change the password, whatever you want. You want to change it to what I would do, everybody should just use Casper Parks. Just use Casper Parks. Everybody use Casper Parks for your password. Exclamation point. But that's what you do. Just change the password. That's all, to whatever you want, okay? Because then if you get locked out after that or whatever, then it's got to get reset. But it's the same thing, the same process that you would have to do with any website when you've got to change a password or if you've forgotten your password. All of those facilities are built into our site, okay? So it's all simple. Don't let it seem complicated, because it isn't. Just take the temporary password, the crazy one, and change it to whatever you want. All right? Okay. Let's go. Let's rock. Let's do this thing. Tonight, Jon Rappoport's Thursday night. As you can see, you're on the bunker cam. I'm in the chair. You remember when I used to have the... See, this is the thing. It's Thursday night. I can talk about whatever I want. I can just hang out with you guys. We're just doing our thing. Do you remember 3-4 years ago when I had the squeaky chair syndrome? Remember that? We went out. This is the truth. We went out and we bought 4 chairs for the bunker, right? And for Hilton Palm, and Charlie Scheckman was here every day, and I was over here, and then we had a guest chair. Well, anyway, after about 3 months of doing the show, remember it would go, remember that? I couldn't move. I mean, you know, if I did the slightest whatever, I'd reach for a pen. So then we went through, remember that? Motor oil, WD-40, everybody giving me all of these tips on how to lubricate the chair. And then it would, you know, it would go away for about a month, and then you remember the then it'd come back just one day, one show. So then what I ended up doing is I went through all 4 chairs. I went through all 4. I rotated them through. You know, I got the new chair, and it was all good. Remember that? Oh, gosh, that was so fun. That lasted for about a year. It took me about a year to get through those 4 chairs. Now, you know, so then we went out and spent the big bucks, and I got this chair, and this thing has never made a sound. It's pretty comfortable, too. I should almost, you know, like do the show from back here and just like, you know, so what's up? Let's take another call. Yeah, what's cracking? How you doing? You know, I could do this. And maybe shots, right? Well, the refrigerator's over there, but, you know, shots, and just kick it, right? You know, like some kind of old 1980s acrylic bong. Remember those? All right. Welcome. It's Thursday night. It's Fadernight. What are you guys doing? I'm in a great mood. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. Facebook, YouTube, everything's Fade to Black, J Church Radio, Jimmy Church, blah, 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 blah. Follow, like, and subscribe over at the website. The buttons are right there. The sandbox in Twitter is hashtag F2B. If you don't want to hang out on Twitter, if 140 characters is just limiting your creativity, go to one of the chat rooms. Go to KGRA, go over to Spreaker. You know, Spreaker's just turned into this dark den of nastiness. But if you want to... you know, take your chances. Go over to the Spreaker chat room and hang out. Hang out with all of us. I keep Spreaker, KGRA, and Twitter all live in front of me. What really sucks for me with the Spreaker chat room and the KGRA chat room as opposed to Twitter, because of the software that I run here in the studio, I don't have the same chat rooms that you guys have. Right? I know what it's like. You go to Spreaker or to KGR, you got a nice chat room. It's big. You can read everything. Me, I've got this broadcast console with faders on it, and it's just buttons, and it's all complicated. And my chat room is this little window over on the right. It's like this big, right? And so the chats just go... And the scroll thing, I don't think they realize how many, you know, things that we do here in this show. You know, how many posts are done in a show. You know, there's 1,000. And the slider bar on the side I grab it and it just moves. So I'm screwed there. But I read the last tweet or the last chat posting, whatever that comment is. So there you go. Everything is live. Welcome to everybody. If you're here for the first time, which I can dig that. If you're here for the first time, you can tell, A, I'm in a good mood. Second, Twitter and the chat rooms and email. This show is interactive. It runs in real time. It's a live show. We run it out of Los Angeles, California, but it's a live show, so everybody's interactive all around the world. And I can see everything, and I love the questions in real time. I like that. I like the comments. I like the conversations that are going on. I try to keep up with most of it as I can. Spreaker is dark. Did I say that? Did I say that? Oh man, I'm just commenting. The last month or two, there's been a couple of Fadernauts that have kind of gone to the dark side, and it's it's just turned into this dark den of sin, this opium den. This, what did Peter O'Toole say? And knee deep. Oh, okay, I won't say it. I just won't say it. All right, let's go. Let's get the show cracking. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Subscribe to our podcast. We have the membership area, of course, which is right there. It is separate from the podcast. Two different things. Podcast is a podcast, which is apps and the iTunes store or the Google store and all of that. That's a separate thing, subscription service that is right there. It's only $2 a month. It's updated every single day. Over 600 archive shows. Every platform is covered. That's $2. That is an actual podcast, okay? Which is the replay of this show. Because the show was live. And then the membership area are commercial-free archives and a bunch of other goodies and the bunker cam and other stuff for the Fadernight. So it's two different things. Okay, so if you subscribe to the podcast, that's cool. You subscribe to the membership area, cool. You do both because you need both, and there's people out there that do that. Great. All right. Yeah. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com, Rivermoon Coffee, Studio Dome speakers. Click on their banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. All of our sponsors. It's how this show runs every single day. Somebody was posting today, I'm not going to say where. Somebody goes, man, why would you have commercials in a radio show? What? Man, it's just got to be commercial free, man. It's just, why do you have commercials in a radio show? And my response to that, I swear this is what I typed. This is exactly what I typed. All right, here's an idea. Why don't you, every week when you get your paycheck from your boss, give it back to your boss? Every week. Do it for 5 years. Every week, just go to work 8, and you know what? Throw in 3-4 hours of overtime. Throw that into. So work 12 hours a day, right? And then go and work on your day off too. Throw in an extra day a week. So work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And then on payday, when you get your check, give it back to your boss. Just hand it to him. And go, dude, no. We don't need no commercials. We don't need nothing here. I don't. I work for free, man. And just get back to me and let me know how that goes for you. Just let me know how long that car stays in your driveway. I'm just saying. Just get back to me on how well your kids are eating. Commercial-free radio. Yeah, all right. Hand your paycheck back to your boss. That's all. It's the same thing, bro. Same thing. Contact in the Desert is May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. Tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. Very simple. Easy. Joshua Tree, California. George Norrie, Graham Hancock, Jacques Vallée, who's going to be on the show here very soon. Oh, did I just say that? Oops, I didn't mean that. I slipped. Robert Bivall is going to be on the show soon. Robert Schock on the show soon. Wilcock on the show soon. Corey Good, always on the show. Jim Mars, always on the show. Giorgio Tsoukalos coming in here real quick. Richard Dolan, Andrew Collins, Linda Moulton Howe, Whitley Strieber, David Sereda, and another 30 or 40 guests. Rita, come back. Just so you can see. Oh, it's working. It's working, Rita. It was blank. No, it's still blank. Oh, no, it did fire up. There you go. We are giving away passes. There is one entry per person. Just go to our website, click on the contest banner. The pass is non-transferable. If you win, that's cool. I hope that you do. But if you win and can't go, let us know, because I can't transfer that pass into somebody else's name. It doesn't work that way. So if you can't attend, let us know. We'll draw another name. Good luck. Thank you, all of you Fadernauts. You guys are the best. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to the one and only Flavor Flav. Today is 58. Jerry Lewis today is 91. And on this day in history, OTD. On this day in history, 1926, it happened. The first liquid-fueled rocket. That's right, Robert H. Goddard successfully launches it, and it travels for 2.5 seconds at the speed of about 60 miles an hour, reaching an altitude of 41 feet and landing 184 feet away. So 41 feet in the air, 100. So it turned and then took off and went straight across the air. What's really funny, and I know that all of you did this, anybody that's above the age of probably 40, 35, 40. You all went into encyclopedias, right? All of the guys did. Some girls did. All the guys went and looked up rockets, and you would look at all these really cool rockets in the rocket section of the encyclopedia. And you would see that famous picture of Robert Goddard with the first rocket. Remember that? It didn't look like a rocket. It had all the tubes and the pipes, and it was like 10 feet tall and was just all crazy looking. That was the rocket. That was the first one, and it happened on this day in history. All right. Fader fact. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, had only $25 in her bank account when she was cast as Wonder Woman back in the 1970s. And that is a Fader fact. All right, man, I had a story about McDonald's. Oh, no, that's coming up. Okay, we can relax about that one. That one is coming up. What time is it? Okay, we're good. I ran that just a little long because I was so happy to be here and sitting in this chair and hanging out with you guys. It's just what I do. So I ran over. But I want to talk to you about a couple of things. Members of AnonSec, a hacking group, have released more than 276 gigabytes of data after allegedly spending months inside of NASA's national network. This is crazy. And with all of the talk about hacking and the ease and the ability to do it, think about this. NASA, right? Well, what did they find? What were they doing? The collection of files include 631 videos of aeroplanes. Yeah, aircraft, specifically DC-8s. Weather radar, 2,143 flight logs, as well as the names, email addresses, and phone numbers of 2,414 employees. I forgot Nancy Wilson's birthday today. Oh, shame on me. I didn't catch that. Happy birthday, Nancy Wilson. She's 63. 63. A real shredder, too. The real deal. Real shredder. Happy birthday, Nancy Wilson. My bad, Jerry. I apologize. Jerry, you from Seattle? How do you know that? All right. So email addresses, phone numbers of all 2,414 NASA employees. What did they find? Now, nothing here about UFOs. No, not rocket technology. No. You know what they ended up finding out? Chemtrails. It's about to go down, folks. A zine, a magazine, an online zine, dubbed Op NASA Drones, reveals everything from Anunsek's motives to the specific technical vulnerabilities that enable the extensive breach itself. It's all there in detail. It's frightening. Okay, just listen to me for a second. I'm going to quote here from the zine, Op NASA Drones. NASA has been breached more times than most people can honestly remember. However, this hack into NASA wasn't initially focused on drones data and upper atmosphere chemical samples. In fact, the original breach into NASA systems wasn't even planned. It was caught up in a Gozi virus spread. And they're referring to the infamous Trojan that has infected more than 1 million computers to date. The data reveals information about NASA's connection to weather modification, chemtrails, into that research in a log of a DC-8 jetliner. The log stated that the plane was used, this is one of 2,000 logs, by the way, was used in 2013 in a project called Alternative Fuel Effects on Contrails and Cruise Emissions. Holy crap. After purchasing an initial foothold from a hacker with knowledge of NASA's servers over 2 years ago, the group says it began testing how many machines it could break into and root. And you know what root is? Root is a term referring to an account with complete control over a computer or computer network. That's the goal. That's the whole goal. You want to root a computer. Brute forcing an administrator's SSH password, which reportedly only took, are you ready, 0.32 seconds. Why? It was because the credentials being left as default. Remember Gary McKinnon. Anunsek gained further access inside, allowing them to grab even more login data with a hidden packet sniffer. A TCP dump. Oh, man. It got nasty. The hackers say that while some members mapped the network, others analyzed the different missions, the air bases, and the aircraft. And it was all listed by the agency. Public missions like OIB Operation Icebridge, it's right there, and drones such as the Global Hawk were among those that were mentioned. Deleting records. Now, this is what is interesting. And wait till you hear how they got caught. Deleting records of their presence as they hacked deeper into the agency system, who even hacked security cameras and uncovered the schematics to one of the base's camera layout plan, then infiltrated the networks at Glenn Research Center, Goddard Space Flight Center, and Dryden Flight Research Center. Some things, my friends, you just can't make up, but it gets worse. Once inside, the group says it began noticing numerous systems and networked devices popping up in scans that were not previously visible. After sniffing a password belonging to the system administrator, the hackers say that they were eventually able to gain full root access to 3 network-attached storage NAS devices tasked with compiling backups of aircraft flight logs, the Holy Grail. Now, I'm quoting directly from Anunsek. Now we had all 3 NAS devices automatically making copies of the logs as they were uploaded from the drones and renaming them, and it looked like a semi-ordinary index file, mocking the system administrator responsible for protecting the data, by the way. As the information began flowing unsuspectingly to the ANNSEC-controlled server outside of the NASA network, analysis of the data yielded what the hackers described as weird traffic. Now, coming from ANNSEC or anybody in Anonymous or anything, any hacker group, they're saying it's weird traffic. It's weird traffic. ANNSEC was discovered and lost access to the servers after they altered the flight path and gained control of a U.S. Global Hawk drone and attempted to crash it into the Pacific Ocean. How do you like that? NASA officials have not yet commented on the information leak, but emails and info on all of their employees have been verified, as well as those flight logs of the DC-8. Now, I don't know what it is going to take to get things locked down and get secure. What I envision in my mind, and I've thought about this, how do you protect your stuff from the outside? It would seem to me that, and although some things have been designed just this way, is that you need an intranet. You need something inside of your building that you're dealing with, and then you need a network connection on the outside of that, an outside loop. And that's it. Your critical data just cannot be accessed by the internet. There's now it has grown. This is what everybody trips on. And we have really, really forgotten the basics here. We only started this venture, the real side of the internet, since AOL and Mosaic, right? Since those periods before Internet Explorer, that right there, that's where the fundamentals started. It was just 20 years ago. It has completely spun out of control in the last 20 years. And really, honestly, we don't know what we're doing. It's just been added on and added on and added on and added on. And we have forgotten about security and data and everything else. We just connect everything to the internet. Let's just connect to the internet. Put it on the internet. And here we go. And last week it was the CIA or the NSA. This week it's NASA. It's Yahoo, whatever. Every single corporation, everything big, everything that matters here in this country has been hacked. Every single one. Man, let's go back and talk about Sony, right? Think about what I am saying to you. It is trippy. This is Fadernight, Thursday night, 323-825-5045. I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Manson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in Deep Space, the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie. It's a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
So good evening, folks. Good to be here. Fade to Black. I know I've been hitting you with some pretty heavy medical news as of late, so let's move into a more speculative realm. Are we living inside a virtual simulation? A question that has been bandied about by many, with many answers. And of course, if we go back far enough in time to ancient civilizations, you can find any number of so-called creation stories. The world or the universe was once a giant tree. It was all formed from creature who was in the mud. Good versus evil is all woven together. There are all the religious stories, etc., 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 on and on. But in these times, we are talking about computers all the time, about digital information, about digitized content. And so we have different stories to examine. For example, take the issue of so-called quantum entanglement, in which some kind of stimulation applied to a very, very tiny particle that provokes a response from that particle is mirrored in another particle at a great distance away. How can this be? But yet it is. And there are many interpretations laid upon this that have to do with the oneness of all life and so on and so forth on a spiritual level. But there is another vector, and I hope that in open phones, by the way, tonight, you folks will be chipping in and talking about your views on this. There is another interpretation of quantum entanglement, which is simply, it's a design function. It's the way the thing was built. and it was built. And it was built, shall we say, as a piece of work, a technological creation, perhaps, a designed function, quantum entanglement. Here's another version. A 2012 study out of Bonn University in Germany proposes that cosmic rays undergo a strange energy shift. The energies are refitted to align, get this, with an underlying pattern or lattice, Lattice, that there is only one proper fit for all the energies in the universe and no exceptions are permitted. So if the lattice happens to be a basic, say, pixel-like reality, then we're interacting with that. And we could be living inside a created artifice, a simulation. Or put this description alongside the hypothesis that the universe is a hologram, lines of code inscribed on a two-dimensional surface that deliver instructions on how the lattice is built and what its properties are. In other words, the software which holographically projects the universe includes the exact structure of the lattice. These are the scientific versions. And of course, there is also, and I'm reading here and there from an article that I wrote, the string theory. What about that? And in fact, I'm looking for that right now. So suppose we're talking about tiny vibrating strings in 10 or 11 dimensions that could explain the basic underlying makeup of this universe. But string theory also suggests many surfaces or membranes or islands on which matter, energy, time can exist. In other words, multiple universes. And that is also part of the modern story about what are we living in here. That in fact, this is only one universe out of many. Who knows how many? I happen to find the scientific overlay on this pedestrian. In other words, they're talking about things like, well, you exist not only in this universe, but in the one next door. And you're exactly or almost exactly the same in the one next door, and maybe everything else is almost exactly the same with slight variations, but that seems to me to be quite unimaginative. If you're going to posit multiple universes, why not go all out and say, hey, folks, it's quite possible, even probable, that many of these other universes are completely unlike this one. They just constructed on completely different terms. And if you wanted to get an inkling or a metaphor for that, wander into a big art museum and go from floor to floor and look at the ancient Egyptian art and the ancient Greek art, which is quite different, and then move ahead into the Renaissance and into Impressionism and Post-Impressionism and Abstract Expressionism, and see the incredible variety of the works and how they are actually built on different bases, you might say. So you could have a universe where space and time are completely different from this space and time. In what way? Use your imagination. It could be just something that would be so disorienting to us if we're suddenly plunked down there that it would take quite a while to make any sort of adjustment and figure out what exactly is happening. So now I want to go into another kind of story. I've told some of this before here on Fade to Black, and this has to do with a line of research that I have been pursuing for many years into ancient Tibetan practices. This would have been before the theocracy, shall we call it, was created in Tibet. Long before that, before the priest class moved in with their metaphysical baggage and their rituals and ceremonies and so on and so forth, this would really have very little to do with that at all. These practices in ancient Tibet would have been brought into the country by itinerant teachers from India who had been thrown out of universities because they were heretics to the orthodoxy of teaching there, because they had a completely different version of human power, shall we say. They were not devotees of some fixed picture of ultimate reality at all. And the practices that they brought into Tibet would now be called perhaps magic. That would be a possible label that would be put on it. These were people who lived out on the fringes, very hardy people, very committed and devoted to extreme kinds of exercises. You might look up an author named Jon Blofeld and see his book about the ancient practices of Tibet. I believe the title was called The Tantric Mysticism of Tibet. A very interesting writer. And he describes a practice called deity visualization. That's kind of a Western term that's put on the practice, and it goes as follows. Probably from a painting, a mandala of some kind of deity, the teacher tells the student that he must create in his mind, in his imagination, an exact picture of that deity, down to the last detail of the threads in the cloak and the shoes, if there are any shoes, and the hands and the fingertips and the whole thing perfectly. Not just for a second or a minute, but steady state. It's imagined with such power that it just stays there. And if you've ever tried to do anything like that, you know what happens. Things flicker in, they flicker out. You build a little bit, it crumbles. You go to another area and try to start from there, and that disappears. And not an easy thing. You could spend months, years in trying to do this. However, as the story goes, if the student is able to achieve that result, then this deity becomes his friend, guide, counselor, advisor, and takes on a reality of its own, a very real reality. And the teacher observes this. He observes the student and what's happening with the deity, so to speak. And when he feels that the relationship is extremely close to the point of dependence, he tells the student, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And this, it is said, is more difficult than the original creation of it. What's the idea behind this? The idea behind this is that the student becomes incredibly proficient at creating and destroying reality. Create it, get rid of it. Create it, it's there, it's real, it's very real, get rid of it. If he can do that, then, according to the story of deity visualization, the student will then realize, and here's where all this ties in, will then realize that the universe is a product of mind. Not just intellectually realize it, but realize it down to his core, to the point where he will be able to, if we want to go back to the modern metaphor of the lattice, the underlying lattice, the codes inscribed on two-dimensional surface, the holographic universe, that student will then be able to change that, alter it, remove pieces of it, insert other pieces. In practical terms, make objects disappear, reappear, create new objects where there were none before that are just as physically real as whatever was there before. So if you're sitting at a table with a computer on it, you could make the computer disappear and reappear. You could produce a vase with flowers where there was no vase, no flowers. You could do many things. The universe as a product of mind. And that story, more than a story, a practice, has persisted in one form or another all the way to today. And it speaks of latent individual power. Power of imagination, creative power, power of insight, power of what I would call being an artist of reality to the hilt, being able to construct and deconstruct endless numbers of realities on a broad scale. Why has that story persisted? Because people still have a sense that somewhere, somehow, this is true. And that introduces a whole new element into the stories about us living in a virtual simulation. It enters into it you, the individual, you and you and you and you and you and everybody. Because perception, invention, creation, imagination now become keys to the whole thing. That on some other level entirely from the design of this thing we call universe, there is a potential interaction, an awesome interaction between the individual and the thing that was designed called universe, where the individual has the latent power, long forgotten, long buried, to actually directly affect energy and time and space. Directly. So now we see the overlap of the so-called paranormal or psychic realm with this designed function universe. That even with the modern story told as it is, however you want to tell it, string theory, lattice, whatever, hologram, simulation, one of many universes, however you want to view that story, this other factor becomes paramount. The individual in relationship to universe and what he potentially can do, what power resides within the individual. This, in fact, is what led me to put together my second collection called Exit from the Matrix, with many imagination exercises. Because, and it's a story that I've mentioned here before, my own experience as a painter, starting out from nowhere in 1961-62 in New York, completely transformed my life. That, in a sense, was an exercise, although I certainly didn't feel it that way or see it that way at the time. But beginning to paint every day, all day, every day, all day, every day, all day, without trying to copy anything or make simulations of vases of flowers, but just painting anything I wanted to, led to a completely unexpected transformation of my whole life. The way I looked at things, my relationships, my connections with people, everything on every level suddenly changed. And eventually that's what led me to become interested in the practices of ancient Tibet. And there are books written by an intrepid explorer named Alexandra David Neal, N as in Nancy, EEL, about her experiences as a lone woman in the early 20th century, at times accompanied by a male friend, going into forbidden territory of Tibet and being in the presence of some of these students and teachers doing these practices, one of which I've explained tonight. Fascinating reading, fascinating ideas, backed up with exercises, backed up with practices for the purpose of discovering the latent capability of the individual. And obviously, we're not talking here about simply the physical individual. We're not talking about the brain. We're not talking about the blood system, the nervous system. This is something more. That the individual is more, and that those latent capabilities reside in that more. Right. I consider this whole story of stories to be indestructible. It goes on and on and on in one form or another, just as our view of what the universe is goes on and on and on and on, and will continue to do so. Because every person, whether they like it or not, whether they want it to be so or not, is a metaphysician and a philosopher at bottom, and a researcher, and an investigator, and a practitioner. These things do not change. You can lay them over, you can put masks on them, civilization can provide all kinds of outs and excuses and ways of covering all of this up, but it never goes away entirely. It just keeps on resurfacing time and time again throughout history, as it will in the future, because we all sense that we want to come to grips with this. We want to engage. We want to discover. We want to find out. And if it is true that these latent capabilities are there, then we want to explore and discover them and find out how to express them. Not simply notice them and pass by as you would, a gas station on the highway. No. Once you see, you get a glimpse of something, it's going to come back time and time again. It's going to occupy your attention, and it's going to give you the sense of endless adventure, now and in the future. And that's my report for tonight. Thank you very much.
Slow down there, kid. Slow down. Let me ask you this, John. Oh, excuse me. So you caught me mid-coffee sip, and everybody watching on the bunker cam was watching me sit here and work, and then you do that, and I got to spin around, grab the microphone, and act like I know what I'm doing. But
you do.
Let me ask you this: do you think you're living in ones and zeros?
Sure, I would say so. I mean, in the sense that, okay, let's say that this whole thing is a design, universe, cosmos, whatever you want to call it. So could the design be zeros and ones? In other words, digital? Could it be constructed that way?
Right.
Yeah, of course it could be. Do I know absolutely that it is? No. But it certainly could be, because, as we go further and further into virtual reality, we certainly get the sense that we can be tricked or fooled into reacting as if we're really there. But of course, we already knew that because you have a dream, and the dream is more real than the waking day that you have after you've had the dream. And your body reacts in the dream as if you were awake and living in the real world.
Let me ask you this. Does it change anything for you if that was the case? Right?
Yes.
What does it change?
What it changes is it gives me personally the sense that we have the capacity to change the design to a much greater degree than we formerly thought. That this is not as forever a thing as we thought it was. That something about the way that we perceive it makes it seem as if it's forever and indestructible and solid, and it goes on and on. But it's not.
Well, and then there's the other aspect, pain. Right? Okay, so we're living in this construct, this ones and zeros, which, trust me, man, nothing would surprise me, right? Okay, so let's say that is the case, but then we have things like pain. So is pain real or not? Right? Can we ignore it? That's just one little thing, but there's the other.
It's a major thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we can ignore it. I mean, there are people who have a much higher threshold, and I think anybody can learn to handle pain much better than they do now. I mean, I know people that handle it a heck of a lot better than I do. And they just have that capability. But it's real. It's as real as anything else around us is real until it isn't.
Right.
Because I've also, and maybe you as well, I'm sure a lot of listeners too, have had the experience of having pain and being able, at least temporarily, to make it go away.
Right. And if that is okay, so if the reality of reality is real, right? Your house is real, your life is real, you going to work every single day and sitting in a cubicle is real, and that is real, then changing that and escaping out of that reality is difficult. But if it's ones and zeros, that changing that and stepping out of that could be as simple as a punch on a keyboard, right? And you would now not be in a cubicle, but you could be an astronaut. Right, you know what I mean? And
sure,
and moving
possible.
in and out. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Very.
Hey, thank you so much, John. And listen, before I let you go, when are you on Alex Jones next? Are you going to do Jones this week?
Next Thursday, I believe, I will be guest hosting in the 4th hour at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the tentative schedule, so that's my best prediction.
There you go.
A week from today.
Check John out over every other Thursday for an hour. He's over co-hosting InfoWars with the one and only Alex Jones. Thank you so much, John. Be safe. Have a great weekend. We'll see you right here next Thursday, my friend.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jon Rappoport, the very best is very simple. NoMoreFakeNews.com. I'll be right back taking your phone call. Stay right there.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Kat Deely, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Well, we are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code TALK.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black Thursday night, Fadernight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. It's open lines from here on out all night long, 323-825-5045. I want to talk Cicada 3301 tonight, but of course it's open line, so it's just you hanging out with me, whatever you want to talk about. But Cicada 3301 is tripping me out, and I've been, along with Rita and the rest of you, lots of emails, lots of comments about it, so I would like to focus on that tonight. And there you go. Okay, so that's I've got some more news and a couple of other things. And if you're on hold, stay right there. And if you're trying to call in, I'm looking at everything backing up right now. I get that. Okay, we'll get to everybody. If you call in and it just rings and rings, that means there's a bunch of callers right in front of you. That's all that means. Okay, so just keep calling and we'll make it happen. Okay, now. One of the interesting things before I start grabbing these calls is Brand. Les Brand, and he has come into the picture on Cicada 3301. Here in Southern California, we have a city called Glendale. It's right next to Burbank. They touch. There is a street called Brand Boulevard. He is the founder of Glendale, California. Built it from when it was literally before cars, before automobiles, and did everything to build that city. His thing was, well, his mausoleum, if you will, his grave, which is there at the Brand Library, in which is his house, his mansion, his castle, they called it, turned into a library. And behind that, on the hill, is the family plot, right? The family plot. And there is his grave. And his grave is a pyramid. That's right. And jumping through hoops today, and I'm looking at different things, and I find a company name, and I find this weird address tied to him with the number 3301. I was like, oh, really? So I go and do a Google search on that address, and it went to a pyramid. Not his pyramid, another pyramid out here. I'm going to post that up here in Twitter in just a second. That flipped me out. That was totally on accident. Nobody told me to do it. And I was like, what? You know, and I just punched it in just to see what would happen. And I zoom in, and it's the marker, that little red flag in Google Earth is on top of a glass pyramid. Trip on that. Coincidence? I don't know. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live right now. Who's calling?
Hi, how you doing, Jim? I'm calling from Miami. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What's your name?
My name is Andre.
Hey, Andre. How are you?
First-time caller. A little bit nervous here. Actually, I just called because I was listening to Jon Rappoport in his report, and he touched about quantum entanglement. Now,
yes.
I am 1 year to graduate in physics at Florida International University, and that is the things that made me actually to call you tonight. So now let me just say a little bit about the quantum entanglement, and I'm a true believer in UFO and all the phenomena that's going on and you talk about every day in your show. So the quantum entanglement pretty much is a twist in reality and the subatomic levels, the quantum levels, right? So I did the calculations before and related to this particular subatomic particle. Now, those twists in reality, I agree with what some of the things in what Jon reported, that it could be another reality.
Right.
Furthermore, I believe that based on my calculations, that UFOs could be traveling from distant part of our galaxy using that particular part of physics, because you cannot travel by no means at a speed of light from one place to another, because it simply means the mass of a particle would increase according to its velocity. In other words,
that's right. That's right. Yep. Heavier, bigger. Right.
Go ahead.
I said heavier, bigger, gnarlier as the speed increases.
You get heavier.
Yes.
The acceleration gets, the force that you needed increases based upon your mass. So the quantum entanglement is this: the particles. It's a different reality. It's a twist in reality, which means that you could be in one place at different times. And I kind of did a calculations using quantum mechanics, and there is a probability distribution. It's just like electron in an atom,
right?
That is in different subshells at the same time, which is what I truly believe there could be other universes out there, and that's what it made me call, because this is the things in which I study on an everyday basis. And I just wanted to say hi to you because, I listen to you every day. So I was like, wait, man, this is the perfect opportunity just to make a call and say hi to everybody.
Well, yeah, and thank you for the call. Let me ask you this, Andre. And I've got to do something here in a couple of minutes, so I'm going to do this really quickly.
Absolutely.
If you are traveling, let's say at the nearly at the speed of light, you are actually in a ship, physically in a ship, right? And you take off, and you're approaching the speed of light. If your ship hit a micrometeorite, wouldn't that friction, the combination of being at the speed of light and that contact, wouldn't that almost be like the craziest, gnarliest atomic explosion? It just wouldn't punch a hole in the ship, right? You would have this orders of magnitude.
Exactly, because velocity is proportional to force, because it's like acceleration. It's the second derivative of position.
Right.
In other words, and the most interesting thing that when I was doing this, I did a comparison between special relativity and quantum mechanics.
Right.
And the thing about interesting of light itself, it's as a particle reaches the speed of light, time stops. And that, to me, when I saw this the first time, I didn't even know how to put it in words. I was so surprised, which means that when you are at the speed of light, you are basically everywhere in the universe.
At the same time.
That also means that you cannot live in that state. So meaning that any carbon organism, organic organism, cannot live in that state. So that is, to me, it is one of the facts that if there is any other civilizations out there, you cannot just use a ship traveling at the speed of light to go from one point to another point in space. It has to do with quantum entanglement, because it simply means there's a distribution probability to be at different places at the same time in the universe, and it's perfectly fine with the laws of physics, because it actually allows us to do it. What does not allow us to do it, it is actually, there's two things in which Einstein said. Nothing could travel at the speed of light if it has mass. In other words, if you have mass, you cannot travel at the speed of light, because your mass increases based on its velocity, and the laws of physics. It's all frame of reference.
Well, there's Andre. I've got to run. There's a reason for it. I don't want to cut you off, but listen. You need to call back into the show, and let's just sit down one night and talk. Because with somebody like, I've got a million questions. Well, there's another aspect to this, which Einstein sort of addressed, but it's being addressed more now, that light has mass too, right? Photons have mass. They have to.
No, I'm sorry. Photon has energy, which is the Planck's constant 6.62 times 10 to the negative 34th joules per second.
Right.
And that's the energy which is related to its frequency or wavelength, but light has no mass.
See,
but anyways,
my brain isn't big enough to handle this, and I need you to explain it to us. Thank you so much.
You know, my pleasure. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I mean, it's a great show, okay?
Thank you so much, Andre, and don't be a stranger, okay? I need you to call in.
Absolutely not. If you want, I could send my calculations to you so you could see yourself.
Absolutely. You've got my email. It's easy.
Absolutely. All right, Jimmy. Have yourself a good night, okay?
You too, Andre. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
That's what I'm talking about. Physicists calling the show, telling me what time it is, and talking about Cicada. This is the deal. Talking about Cicada 3301, I was thinking about this just a few minutes ago. There is only, and you probably saw me doing this, I went and grabbed my phone. There is only one person to talk to about Cicada 3301. And I'm going to see if I can get him on the line right now. And that is Gregg Housh of Anonymous. The dude. So let's see if I actually get Greg to, let's see. Greg, are you there?
I am here.
You picked up the phone, my friend. Everybody, it's Gregg Housh. And, Greg, look, you're not too busy. Can you give me a few minutes?
The work emergency is going a little slow right now, so you can have a few.
That's what I'm talking about. And it's been too long since you've been on the show, so we've got to, at another time, let's talk. I know that you've got a lot of stuff going on in your life, but we've got to get you back on the show and go deep. There's a lot of things going on in the world. You know what's really funny? In your world, as you sit and watch the news every single day about networks, hacking, international, national, malware, backdoor, compromise, it's all day long, every day. Did you ever think, Greg, before we get to Cicada 3301, which I'm going to ask you about, did you ever think that it would actually come to this? And you probably did, didn't you?
I did. I just still find it a little, odd. I'm used to these types of topics being the topic of the day among, my friends, going back to the early 90s. But now, here we are. My grandma is asking me about him because it's all she hears on the news.
That's what I'm talking about. Isn't that crazy? from the White House, from the White House down, left, right, up and down, around the globe, every printed media, news, radio, television. It's the top headline every single day of the week now. It's absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, and half of it's true.
Right. You know what's really funny? You're absolutely right. Probably less than that. And
yeah.
What I wanted to ask you about, I wanted to pick your brain really quick. We've got a few minutes left here before the bottom of the hour. Is Cicada 3301? What is your overall take? And the direct question is it a government program? Is it the NSA looking for code, for cryptologists? Is it a clandestine group of friends having fun? Is it somebody messing with our heads? Is it the Illuminati? Is it anonymous? What's going on here?
Man, what I will say is, well, you know what? Screw it. It's a group of what people refer to as crypto-anarchists. They used to call them cypherpunks in the 90s. Basically working to recruit people for programming tasks for what they believe to be the greater good, which a lot of it does include encryption and security. So they're targeting their puzzles specifically at that crowd.
Do you have you had a direct conversation with a member of Cicada?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's okay. I'm not going to compromise you. You know that. Of course. It's a bonding of trust between the two of us. But let me ask you this: has anybody ever solved Cicada? Any of them?
Not completely. There are a couple people like Marcus Warner.
Mm-hmm.
I can never pronounce his name right.
I think it's
There was a
Warner.
kid named Joel who also got there, but they got through, I guess, what you would call the layer that everyone expected them to get to. But there's still one big test out there right now, the runes that were released in 2014. That's still not solved. And, you'll see a lot of new tests coming out. Like, there was even one that came out a few weeks ago, late January, that was fake. They don't have any plans to release another test or another set of puzzles until those runes are solved.
So, now that's interesting. With all of my research with what is going on with 2017, as cool as it is, right? And it's cool. And it's complicated, but it doesn't have the complexity or the diversity that all of the original puzzles had. So you're suggesting that Cicada 2017, the release that just happened, is not from the Cicada group?
As I understand everything, and from the people that I know, it is not. Although, the way these things work, specifically this one, in its cell-like nature, one of its cells could be doing this, but it is not the originators. The easiest way to tell is the first release should always in some way be tagged with their PGP key and OpenGPG.
Right.
And it is not and hasn't been yet.
So if a PGP key is revealed in a further puzzle, and it would have to be now, right? I mean, it would have to be early on. Then that would be an indication of it. And what is a PGP key? I started talking about that yesterday for everybody. You're the right one to describe it. What is a PGP key?
Well, you have a key that's yours, and it's private. And it's the one that you never want to share with anyone. And then you have a public one. And if someone has the public one, they can verify that a piece of data that you have was signed with your private one. They don't have a copy of your private one, but combined, they can take the data you've put out that you've signed with your key, kind of like a password, and take the public version of that key that is, of course, a little different, and verify that this is indeed the file from the person that I think it came from, or at very worst, someone who stole his key. But, you know, you just got to protect those keys with your life at that point if they're that important. The thing with the Cicada key that's sort of really important here is you have to look at it from the standpoint of the best in the crypto world.
Right.
They're not going to put their time into a set of puzzles like this without knowledge that this is really Cicada, that it's not some kind of a scam. Because, you know, look at 2016. There were, 5 or 6 of them before the real one, you know, actually surfaced, when the real one was really just saying, look at 2014 again. And they actually ended up using their key to sign a message refuting one of the other fake puzzles out there, saying that's not us. And so they're always going to use their key to sign their work early on, so it convinces everyone that it's them, so enough people sign up to start doing the work. It's just, you know, it's proof that you want to put your time in, because if it's not them, what's the point?
What's the ultimate goal? And if it, let's say that, and I never would because I'm not smart enough, but let's say I solve the puzzle, right? I actually make it through. Who is it that I'm going to meet? And I'm going to meet a group of somebody. And would you ever hear from me again? In that, do you think I, Jimmy Church, would go public and say that I solved the puzzle? I probably wouldn't, would I? Because now I am part of a group that wouldn't want that. Am I correct in looking at it that way?
I think you're pretty close. I mean, the interesting way that this works, I mean, it's really this, I personally just looked at it when they originally did it and thought they were a genius for one reason. The type of person that has this skill set and has worked hard to get to the point where they have all the varying pieces of this skill set,
right,
usually has this specific type of mind with the specific set of beliefs as well. It just seems to work out that way, where if you could break this puzzle all the way through alone, you probably also believe very similar to them about freedom of information, about people's free rights, very libertarian kind of, I'm going to have my own house and you have no right to be on my land, I don't care what government you think you are, kind of a thought process. And, you know, it's this type of person who would agree with that in general. So when you get to the end, if you meet these people, learn their ethos, learn what they're really doing, 9 times out of 10, you're going to say, oh, I found my people. Yeah, I'm not going to go tell anyone.
Right. It'd be almost like a hive mind, so to speak. And this is the other thing, which is what I find so interesting, Greg, is you mentioned skill set. What is involved here? It's not just code and it's not just computers. It's music, it's literature, it's poetry. You have to have the ability to see 3D through so many aspects of life. That is a skill set. You are, if you make it through, and you do have the poetry and the literature and history and paintings and knowing music software and photo software and imaging software. I mean, forget about the cryptography. That's the obvious, right? So you have all of these other skill sets. You are a very singular person on planet Earth, aren't you? There's not too many people that are going to walk around with this skill set, are there?
No, there's not too many people. Well, I'll put it like this. There's not too many people with that skill set who already aren't sitting somewhere in some big corporation's cave.
Right.
You know, they've got them hidden away because this is their little gem. I actually have a friend who is that level of person on all of those pieces, and he's a little on the spectrum, the autism spectrum, but very, very low on it. But he's there and medicated from it. But man, to watch him go, it's just another level. And when a company gets their hands on him, they do whatever it takes to make sure he doesn't walk out the door.
Right.
Like, just on a whim. Oh, you need to do this for 3 weeks? Yes, we don't mind at all. Sure, we won't see you for 3 weeks. Perfectly fine. You can have an extra 3 weeks this year. Like, they will do whatever. And so people like that at that level are just, you know, they're a rare commodity, and people pay a high price for that.
What's and thank you, man. Just thank you for coming on and taking the time tonight. I know that you're really busy, but what's new in your world? I know that you've built a radio studio. Are you taking advantage of it? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm working on getting my own podcast off the ground and working on actually getting a podcast network off the ground. We're going to have 10 shows. Starting it up, this was a little more work than I thought it was going to be. I'm so used to people just, hey, I got a microphone and a camera on my Mac at home, and I'm now a podcaster. But I went a little pro with this thing, and so it's taking me a little bit to get the studio in place. But we recorded our first, what I'll call test episode about 2 weeks ago, and now we're retooling a little based on what we learned there. And we'll be live about 2 weeks from now, every Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m.
The studio is beautiful, and I'll just tell the audience right now, Greg was texting me his progress, and I was just like, dude, I mean, that's really nice. Nice digs. You're taking it very, very serious. You're right. It's not just a microphone and a computer. You've gone way over the top, but the studio is gorgeous. Where can everybody listen to the show? And do you actually have a functioning website these days? You
this
don't.
Is where we're a little early. We're a little early, but you know what? If you go to GreggHoush.com right now, that first episode is up.
Right.
That's about all that's there. You can sign up for our little newsletter, which will notify you when we're really going live.
Right.
But this will give you a little taste of what it kind of sounds like, what the website's going to basically look like. We'll be rolling out the full website and all the features that it's going to contain, I'd say about 2 weeks from now.
Man.
And then we're going to roll out on iTunes, on Stitcher, on iHeart, on the hundreds of platforms that take podcasts. Now,
and what's the subject matter? So do you have an overall color for the network? What's it about?
The network's, I would say it's current events with a hint of activism, hacktivism, hacking technology, and heavy politics. I find myself, of course, a little on the left, a little closer to center than some hackers, but definitely on the left. And we're going to cover all the latest hacks, all the latest tech news, all the latest political news in through the lens of activism. And we're going to really try hard to drive people to take action and do more out there in the world.
Man, you're the best, Greg, and good luck. And after you launch the first show, sometime next month, we'll get you back on, and we'll do a full show here. All right?
And we're going to get you on my show.
Whenever, man, I am yours. Whenever, and again, we got to go hang out in New York one more time. Thank you so much, Greg. You're the very best, my brother. And be safe out there.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right, man.
You got it. Gregg Housh, everybody. That was the Gregg Housh. GreggHoush.com. And the phone lines are locked up here. Okay, I will get to everybody's phone calls. So this is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. Nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to naturesyouth.com. That's naturesyouth.com. naturesyouth.com.
I was introduced to this remarkable product, Balance of Nature Fruits and Veggies, and to say it's amazing is an understatement. Balance of Nature provides the nutrients of 9 to 11 servings of 31 different whole ripened fruits and veggies per day, and the cost to the consumer for 9 to 11 servings is about 22 cents per serving, as opposed to over $1 in the store. Balance of Nature Fruits and Veggies helps boost the immune system by over 720%, and they also provide a health coach for you at no charge to guide you with any questions you may have. And you can also visit their website for testimonials on balanceofnature.com. So take steps to give yourself better overall health and call them now, toll free at 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751, or go to balanceofnature.com right now. Make sure to let them know you heard it here by using promo code TALK for a special discount. That's balanceofnature.com and use promo code TALK.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Welcome to everybody that is in the membership area looking at the bunker cam. How you doing? I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Fadernight, Thursday night. Open lines, 323-825-5045. We just had an interesting conversation with Gregg Housh. Now, what he is saying that, and trust me, Gregg is the guy. Gregg is the dude. Okay, so, and we all know that. So when you have somebody like Gregg come in here and give his opinion on something and his knowledge, and especially when, and I love it when he goes, oh, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to say it. All right, that the levels of what is going on here with Cicada 3301 is at a level that you or I or anybody else that you know, we know nothing about. We're not of that elite status, and it truly. I mean, my mind has been boggled and tied up with this. I've said it more and more. The skill sets that it takes to know all of this on your own and pull this off, it's at another level. You are a singular person on planet Earth, and that's what needs to be driven home here. Is it now? See, this is what's crazy. Is it NSA? He says no. All right, I've said it was, shows you what I know. But I think that puts a darker, more unavailable spin to it, right? This is a group of people that is running in the shadows, in the background, with this kind of knowledge. And he's absolutely right. You have this skill set, you are paid, you are set, you are grabbed, you are done. And they will do everything they can to make sure that you are happy, and they will not let you go. That's what I said, and I meant this. If you solve this puzzle, you're never heard from again. You are at another level. Think about that. And that's what's really interesting about Gregg's take. You know, I'm not going to compromise his contacts or what he does or anything like that. I would never do that. It's called trust. But wow. Very interesting. It's got my mind going. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello?
Yeah, you're live right now. Who's calling?
This is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was inspired by Jon Rappoport's story to call in. And what I wanted to say was, I think that some higher intelligent beings are capable of manipulating the holographic universe.
Why is that, Nathan?
Well, I've called in before to talk about my experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And based on my experiences, I've seen a lot of what I would call holographic technology.
Right.
And what I was thinking is it actually them using an advanced hologram, or is it them manipulating the actual fabric of the universe?
Right. And see, this is why not only you are so special, but this audience and how we look at things, we are just a little bit different, where we would go and pursue that, and look at things like that, where others are just happy in being complacent, right, and just ignoring what is going on around them and underneath them. But you don't accept that, and you understand that possibility is there. I fully think that there is the possibility of anything. Do you know what I mean when I say you understand what I'm saying when I say that? Anything is possible. Yeah. Anything is possible. I will not shut any of that down. What is interesting here, Nathan, is the amount of money that is in Silicon Valley. And those very, very rich tech billionaires who have built their money and I'm not taking away from anybody that has a dry cleaning business, right? But if you have a dry cleaning business and you make it, okay, that's one thing. But if you've made your money on software and technology and writing code, you have a different kind of mind, right? You are thinking differently. And so if you're going to climb to the top and understand the complexities of the internet and computers and software and chips and code writing and graphics cards and hardware, and you understand packet switching and routers, it's insane, right? And if your mind says, I think there's a possibility here that none of this is even real, that freaks me out. That freaks me out, that people at that level, I don't think somebody that is running a detergent company out of Decatur, right, is thinking like that. But when you have somebody from Silicon Valley, a tech company, a tech head, a billionaire that says, I'm going to invest some money into this, I want to find out, and I want to get to the bottom line here. I just don't think everything is real. I think we're living in a simulation. That's when we have to step back and take notice, which says to me, Nathan, that you're okay, right? You're okay in thinking like that because you know what? Not only do others do, but others that are running these companies, these very, very smart people are putting out this possibility as well. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do. The reason I know that there is at least a partial holographic, quality to the universe is because of the experiences that I've had. And I've seen, alien technology, and I've seen very bizarre things happen. And so I know there's a multidimensional reality there.
Well, and that's the whole point, isn't it? That is the whole point. Once you have experienced what you have and things that I have seen and this audience, once you have seen you only need one little thing, one little nugget. Once you know that there's something else going on, that's all it takes. Whether it's seeing a ghost or seeing a plasma ball or seeing an orb or seeing a spaceship in the sky or a little gray alien in your bedroom or whatever it is that's an out-of-body experience, astral travel, time travel, any of that kind of thing happens to you, a relative that's passed away comes and stands in front of you, you start to know right then and there that things are not what they seem. And what you are being told is not reality. It doesn't take, you don't have to see everything, do you? You don't. You only need a little snippet of it to understand that there is something much bigger out there that is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Nathan, thank you for the phone call, my friend. And as always, it's Fadernights Thursday night. Don't be a stranger.
I won't be.
Thank you so much, Nathan. Behave out there.
I will. Bye, Jimmy.
Yeah, take care. That's a great phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, Casper.
Hey, Casper, how are you?
All right, this whole thing kind of reminds me of that 1980s sci-fi flick, The Last Starfighter.
Oh, yeah, great movie.
Yeah, it was a great film. Yeah, it's where the teenagers live in a mobile home park or whatever, and was playing this video game. It turned out to be a recruitment tool to go fight by some alien race, to go fight some other alien race, The Last Starfighter.
Yep.
And I'm just hearing this thing, and I was just thinking about, if you get to a certain level, you disappear or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, this kind of almost reminds me a little of that film a little bit.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
yeah, you're so right with that. And look, listen to, and I know you just heard Gregg Housh. So you have a guy like Gregg Housh come on here and say those things. It's exactly what we're talking about here. It is certainly a recruitment tool. They are trying to, whoever it is, trying to flesh out talent. That singular...
I called the number, and it does the conference call. Then I got a text message.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I'm not going to read it because I don't want to spoil it for somebody else. And then of course you get the an invite to go someplace.
Yep. Well, hold on. I'm gonna hold up. I called the number last night. There it is, right there. That's the text message. Does that show up in? There it is. Oh, nobody can see. Okay, all right. Meant studio lighting, but there's the text message. I called the phone booth last night, and what was it, man? Were you nervous when he dialed the number? I kind of was.
No, not really.
Oh, man.
At all. It just kind of rang and said this number, something or other, then it does a conference call.
Did you go to the
text message?
Did you go to the conference call? Did you listen?
Yeah.
And who was on the line? We had 3 people that were on the line last night.
No, nobody. I just got this. All of a sudden, a text message popped up.
Oh man, it was great last night. We were listening, and it was one guy talking about Cicada 3301, and he was clicking on the internet. He was bouncing around on websites and talking about how he was surfing and what he was seeing. Another guy was answering his questions while he was at work. And he goes, okay, man, you got to be quiet. You got to ignore this for a second because I'm handling power tools. Right? It was like bizarre. So we're listening.
There's a weird thing because it brings up the IRC.
Yep.
And I don't know if people really know the history of that. Did you go over that already, how that was started?
IRC chat?
Yeah, you know that was started, right?
Yes, of course. Internet relay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but you knew who paid for it.
Well, of course.
Research and all that.
Well, yeah, of course, DARPA.
Right, but maybe we got 2 different stories going here because I heard something else, and this was like back in the early days of the internet when you had to buy a domain. It was like $2,000. Some rich guy in the Middle East wanted something like this, and he paid to fund it. That's what I heard, and gave it away. But maybe it is DARPA.
Okay.
IRC chat is kind of different than the internet. So maybe because I remember hearing that back in the day in the 90s when I was first getting online. And IRC was really the only chat out there because it was before AOL and everything.
Right.
The story was some rich guy in the Middle East paid for it. I can't remember his name now.
Right. And, well, his name was Jarko, but what I remember, this is my memory says that there was with ANET and IRC, and there was some students in a university over in like the Netherlands or Iceland or somewhere, and they got together over here with a couple of universities. And look, man, I'm not some internet historian, but I want to say it was like the Air Force Academy or a university in Colorado, which is where DARPANET started. That's what my memory says, and that they were communicating with, trying to communicate with Stanford or something, or a West Coast university. And that software was brought in with the IRC, and that's how they got everything connected. And there was DARPA running in the background. That's my memory. I could be completely off. Don't send me emails correcting me on what I just said. But that's what my memory in my little, internet knowledge, which is nothing. See, we just had Gregg Housh on, man. That's the guy to talk to.
Yeah, he would probably know. I know you love a good political conspiracy. Did you see the one with Roger Stone?
No. What's going on?
Well, apparently, Roger Stone was a close friend of Trump and a admitted GOP operative. He had backdoor meetings with Julian Assange for WikiLeaks in that Gucci 2.0 or Guccifer.
Right.
The hacker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently someone tried to poison him a while recently.
Right.
And then the other day, the old four-door Pontiac T-boned a car he was in, just like took off and like aimed right for him and ran right into him.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And he's out on a book tour right now. He just did a book.
Right.
And it's like, and apparently the same day that he got T-boned, the Democratic Intelligence Committee was calling for him to appear before a panel. And
that's tasty.
This is what this guy says. He says he thinks there's somebody else trying to make it look like the Russians are trying to off him. He's still saying Trump didn't have any connection to the Russians, but he had the Russian ambassador drop dead, and then they wouldn't do any autopsy. Which supposedly
I know, huh?
And now you get this guy, someone tried to poison him, and a couple of weeks later they like run at him with a car and T-bone him. And like you said, the only reason he made it was because of the airbags inside of the car. I was like, oh, man, you got to be... this stuff is getting so bad, I have to laugh at it. I'm sorry.
Well, I have been staying away, for comments, but, staying away from commenting on what's going on in the world right now and in Washington, D.C. But I'm going to say this. I'll say this as direct as I can. This is like the craziest Jason Bourne conspiracy, international intrigue, spy versus spy, hackers, gray, white hat, black hat, gnarly, crazy insanity, but it's really going on. So what I am doing, this is what I am doing. I'm treating this like some kind of crazy Clancy book, and I'm just enjoying it like a movie that I don't have to pay for. Because if you really stop and think about this, if I was going to sit down and write the craziest, gnarliest, not only spy Washington, D.C. political thriller, right? But also the greatest comedy of all time. So you would have a combination of the two, right? That's what you would do. And that's what's going on here. We've got, I can't quite get my head around it, but you have a guy right now that managed to get himself in the White House. Great. All right. Fantastic. I've always have been a fan of Donald Trump. I've said it from the beginning. When I was a kid, I got a copy of The Art of the Deal. It was actually a gift, a birthday gift, and a hardcover. And I read that book like 5 times. And I wanted to grow up and be Donald Trump, man. It was just like, man, what a cool... I was a musician, but I was like, man, this guy, So I've always been a fan of Trump. But the one thing that is flipping me out right now is that with Trump, and I'm just going to say this in a very flippant sort of way, he's not smart enough to be the president. He's not, right? He's just quite simply not the guy. But he got elected, and a lot of people felt like he should be. And so he was voted into office. So here I am, I'm trying to support him. But I just kick back, and it's like the funniest thing ever. It's comedy to me. It's comedy. You know, this whole wiretapping thing out of, you know, this is, and I'm going to be really serious. The daily events that happen, and it doesn't matter what media source you go to, you can go straight to Sean Spicer's mouth himself, right? You don't have to, don't trust the media. Don't trust the media. Just go to one of his spokespersons. What are they saying? Don't listen to the media. Listen to the White House. Read his own tweets. Don't go to the media. Enjoy that part of it. And so you go and you listen, and it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Nothing that is coming out. It is hilarious. It just makes me wonder what is really going on there. You know, so now this wiretapping thing comes out. When you tweet as a president, and just imagine if Reagan or Carter or Nixon or Kennedy or, you know, pick somebody, if Clinton, you know, or George W., either one, Herbert Walker, actually said, you know what, I was wiretapped. Well, you know what? You better be able to back that up. Because we understand exactly what you are trying to say. We are not misunderstanding what you're saying here. But now we got this wiretap thing, Casper, and he says wiretap, and now he wants us to go, well, you know, I didn't really mean wiretap. What I meant was like everything. It's like, dude, wait a minute. Now you're asking us, and this is where the comedy comes in. You're asking us to not understand or take things that you are saying literally. You don't want us to understand it. You don't want us to take it literally. And it's like, wait, the president of the United States, when he says something like that, you are taking it literally. You're not supposed to be in a position of, well, he must mean something else. It's comedy. It's comedy. It's laughable. I'm not taking it seriously. I'm just walking. It's like a movie. It's like a movie. And I know that ultimately everything's going to be just fine, man. The economy is growing. We're going to put people back to work, and things are just iron itself out. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, we've gone through this, you know, all this political stuff, and you're right. We always keep going on. You know?
Yeah, I'm not going political, man. I'm just not, man. I'm supporting our president.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, and the country continues on. You know, I mean, it's what it is. What it is. You know, I mean, I'm 60 years old. I've been through a number of, you know, administrations in my life, and it's just like, okay, here we go again. Each time it's here we go again, and it's like, okay, you know, you just wait and see, and it keeps rolling on, you know.
Well, so, you know, as with any president, it doesn't matter. As with any president, what is interesting here is that we always have promises, campaign promises, and then they get in office and nothing changes. Well, now we've got a guy that wants to come in and really, really shake things up, and I'm all for that. But what you will find is, and our founding fathers built this into the system, we have checks and balances. We have 3 branches of government. Nobody can rustle control. There is going to be no king of America. There's not going to be any dictatorship that's going down. And you can't just go and sign an executive order and have it. No, that's a dictatorship. That's not what happens here. And so all of what he is finding out is that what I think a lot of presidents find out is that you can't go in there and do whatever you want. You know, courts have struck him down, and there's people out there. There's a system in place to make sure that things don't spin out of control. So he's got to work within those boundaries. Is he going to affect those changes? He's already started that, and it looks really interesting. Man, look at the stock market. Man, holy crap! You know. We might see 30,000 in a couple of months. I don't know what's going on with that. I saw the jobs projection, man. He's going to create 25 million jobs here if he keeps, you know, I applaud it. You know, and I'm not I'm not in any way going political here. I'm just saying, look, I'm kicking back and watching this farcical thing come out of Washington, D.C., and I'm just watching Sean Spicer try to battle the press is comedy, man. Comedy. It's laughable. It's just comedy. It's comedy. It's comedy. Sean Spicer doesn't believe a thing coming out of his mouth, but he's getting paid, right? So he's got to. It's just funny, man. I'm smarter than that, and I just see through it, and we'll get, this country is always going to survive. It's always going to be good, and we'll get through this. And that's as far as I'm going to go with the political stuff. People.
Yeah. I didn't mean to go that far. And I was actually going to tell you about 2 weeks ago. You would probably call it an alien download, but something really weird happened.
What's that?
But we're kind of out of time, so. Yeah,
we are. We're headed towards a break. What was it?
No. I just I listened to some of my Twitter people released a song. I got like a few chords into it, and I had a 3-day alien download, I guess you might call it.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, wow.
Oh, dude. Wow.
I went out and bought the cover for the book already.
Oh,
I just threw it up on Twitter.
Wow. I haven't seen it yet.
What is the cover? I didn't put the title up because I'm not going to release the title yet.
Right.
I just threw I just bought the cover for the book.
Okay. All right. Have I seen it?
I just threw it up on Twitter.
Oh, is it? Oh, this is it right here. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. It was it was weird. I was like seeing like holographic images all around. This went on for 3 days. Holographic images all around me, flashes, characters coming in and out. Jermac popped back in, which would make some people happy. From ages past, and all of a sudden he was there. I wasn't expecting that. The concept was there for a while, but didn't have a delivery mechanism for all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started hearing this one particular song, it was like 3 days of just like holographic images all around me constantly. I'm like driving my truck, and I'm like having these flashes and driving at the same time. It's just crazy.
Wow. Well, I just retweeted. It looks really, really good, man. Looks really good. So I just popped it out there. Everybody check that out.
You had a commercial break, so I gotta let you get.
Yeah, I gotta run. Thank you so much, Casper. Casper Parks, my new password on everything in my life. Thank you, Casper. Behave and be well.
All right. Bye.
Fadernight, Thursday night, 323-825-5045. No politics, just the comedy of politics. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
Do you know what's in your body soap? Well, I didn't know the answer until about 5 years ago when I looked at the label of my soap and was shocked to see all the chemicals. For my entire life, I had been assaulting the largest organ of my body, my skin, and to think my children were using it too. Well, a lot has changed since then. Today, my family and I operate Stone City Farms, where we make and sell all-natural goat milk soap using fresh goat milk from goats we raise on our farm. Our mission at Stone City Farm is to produce high-quality, all-natural goat milk soap for people who want a fresh, unrefined, natural product. At Stone City Farms, we offer scented and unscented soaps and a signature line of gift sets customizable to your needs. To see what our customers are saying, go to StoneCityFarm.com. Use the code NATURAL for a 20% discount. That's StoneCityFarm.com, code NATURAL for 20% off your order. You never know what could be hiding in your soap.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Would you like relief from muscle pain, headaches, and discomfort to sleep better, have more energy during the day, and just feel naturally amazing? Fibromalic can help. Its blend of malic acid and magnesium can provide pain relief and comfort for those who experience fibromyalgia. It helps your body absorb more oxygen, and it works quickly for a significant reduction in pain within 48 hours, all without a prescription. Ask for Fibromalic at health and vitamin shops or shop fibromalic.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Welcome to everybody in the bunker cam room. How you doing? It's Thursday night, Fadernight, 323-825-5045. All things Cicada is where I wanted to take things tonight, and I'm not going to let my foot off the gas. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy. It's Josh.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm watching you on a big 72-inch screen, Samsung 4K, in your bunker cam. I can see the hair in your nose. I'm teasing.
Right on.
We're all sitting here. We were sitting here watching. I was wondering if you heard about this old boy named Ray Kurzweil, I think.
Yeah.
K-U-R-Z-W-E, he's a director of engineering.
Yep.
This guy's made 147 predictions since 90, and 86% of the time was correct. He stated 2029 fuse with machines and an event known as singularity. Heard you talk about this, and it's going to make us stronger and smarter and sexier, and that's only about 12 years away.
Right.
And it's kind of that cyborg.
Ray is a very intelligent guy. You've got a lot of noise in your system in the background there, Josh.
I'm sorry. We got a new phone line, a landline, so I was hoping it would be a lot clearer.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So I'll say this. Ray also, in the music industry, he had a company called Kurzweil. And he made keyboards and samplers and very advanced technology. He's somebody that I've been aware of for a long, long time. And when Ray broke off of Kurzweil and started to get into artificial intelligence and AI and making very public statements about that, we stood up and took notice, especially in the music industry, because it was kind of like, one of our own. But he's a very, very brilliant guy. Now, his comments about the singularity and artificial intelligence and robots and the take over the world, he's thrown a lot of dates out there, and he even has stated as early as it could be 2018 we could reach this point. Things are advancing very, very quickly. I'll say the singularity itself, Josh, is a scary concept, and I talk about it so much on this show. The reason why it freaks me out is I don't know if we have thought through this to the point where we have an off button, right? An off button.
Right.
An off button. Is there a way to turn the machines off if things spin out? But the problem with that is the machines would outthink us on that. They would know that there would be an off button, so we go to flip it and it doesn't do anything. I don't know. John just posted a picture of me as Donald Trump. Thank you for that, Jimmy Trump.
Well, it used to be where if you're getting hacked or something, you just pull the plug out of the wall, and power down the box. And you pull the plug out, it's, with these smartphones and stuff, powering them down, they still access them. And, he also was talking about, this was a statement that he made back in 2015 about digital dark ages, about the keeping up with the old legacy equipment.
Right.
And that like I-386 and the 8088 and and beyond before that, that there won't be any, I guess, records or are able to even use it,
right,
to get that information.
Right.
So,
well, listen, Josh, your phone is creating a lot of noise in the system. When you go back and listen, you'll hear what I'm talking about. But thank you for the phone call, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, you too, Josh. Man, one of the great Fadernauts right there, man. And I hate, man, it's just noise in the line, Josh. Bums me out. All right, 323-825-5045. And, yeah, somebody just, I'm going to go back and look at this again. John posted a picture of me as Donald Trump. I really, look, that book, The Art of the Deal, and I remember when that was probably 19, man, I don't even know. It was in the 80s, right? Hold on for a second. The Art of the Deal. The Art of the Deal. When was that published? The Art of the Deal. Let's see here. The Art of the Deal. 1987. Yeah, that's about right. Yep, because I read it in Memphis. And that would have been 88, 89 when I was visiting my parents. So there you go. And I enjoyed the book. It was pretty cool. And he was pretty young, too, when he wrote it. So that's all that I'm saying, man. It was a book that was pretty inspiring, and for all of us. Not saying anything bad. Not saying anything good. It was a cool book. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey there, Kendra in Ventura.
Hey, Kendra, how are you?
Smoking a bean, slapping a bass.
That's what I'm talking about. What are you doing?
Anyway, I have a quite interesting report of my phone call to the Mojave phone booth.
What happened?
Yeah, but first, real quick, on the whole, is this a holographic universe question? How about this? What if every thought we have creates a universe? Whoa, dude.
Yeah, right.
It's all relative in my mind. Anyway, so here's what happened. So at 11:50 last night, I called the infamous now, to me, a Mojave phone booth phone number. And it went into, it's been changed to a conference. So I went into the conference, and I've been on many a conference call. And I could tell from the background echo sort of sound that it was live with someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, hello. And then there was silence. And then I heard the sounds faintly of keyboards tapping, like typing.
Right.
So I knew I was typing something. So I'm like, hello, I can actually hear you. Can you hear me? Silence. And I heard it like a bit of a sniffle. like a human sniffle. So there's a live person in that conference room, which the automated announced, you are the second person to join the conference.
Right.
So another validation. But just no response, refusal to respond to my hello or what have you. So I hung up. I tried again this evening at 6:15, and I was the only one in the conference room, and they were playing Jackson's Brown Operator.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. Anyway, so there might be a message there. So that's my report, and I just wanted to.
Well, we did.
That.
What time did you do it last night?
At 11:50, 10 minutes to midnight.
Okay, we did ours. I'm looking here. I got the text at 11:18, and that was our first test run. We did it on a few different phones, and so I kind of tripped out at first. And I hung up, and then I got the text back. I just checked my phone right now, and that was at 11:18 p.m. The text read, "Welcome to the Mojave. The flood has begun. The desert has secrets to reveal." Now, here in this text, the word flood is not the same flood that is part of the game, which is interesting.
Is it spelled?
Yeah, this is in this text. It's spelled Flood. In the game, in Cicada, it's Fludd. Okay, so there's that part of it. So anyway, so then we hung up. I just kind of tripped out. I kind of freaked out, and I didn't want my phone number out there. So then we called from another line and got through. We did investigate a couple of other numbers that were involved with this one. More on that in a bit. But so then we get through, and there was 3. We were the 4th person that was there for the conference, and there were 2 people. Like I was talking about this earlier, there were 2 people talking to each other, and one guy said he was at work using heavy machinery, and the other guy was clicking through web pages and talking about Cicada 3301, and it almost sounded like he was talking to himself. But as it turns out, these 2 guys were actually talking to each other. The other person that was there besides us wasn't saying anything at all. So there you go.
Power tool?
It was loud. It was loud, Kendra. It was loud. So
odd.
Yeah.
So odd.
And, well, we've given out the phone number.
Jimmy, may I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and also what was so strange, again, with me last night about, the show going offline for me and nobody else, and that the website was whited out where there's normally that, I don't know what you call it, the sound graph. Was completely white, that whole screen, and it was just so strange. So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that someone would be sitting there not responding to me, but typing and maybe had a bit of allergies or a cold.
Well,
I mean, it just felt so very strange.
Well, we're working on that, Kendra, and I'll talk about a little bit more about that. We have such heavy traffic. All right. Now, the website itself, we could handle a couple of 100,000 people on the website at one time. It's when we have an influx that comes in at the exact same second, right? 1,000 or 2,000 people.
The queue,
right,
at all.
right at one point. And for some reason, it goes in waves. But we are working on it behind the scenes, and I haven't heard anything for the last couple of days. So I think that we've got it. All right, but let me know if anything pops up in the future. Let us know about it.
We will, and I have some more, like I said, ET sightings, lots of strange activity in Ventura County in the 805. But I'll hop off here. I've been on a bit with you already, and offer more time for other Fadernauts, and that's just share the space, man.
Thank you so much, Kendra.
Good night. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for all your amazing hard work, and love you, man.
Love you back. Thank you so much, Kendra. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. This is John from, Fort Myers now, originally Chicago, but this is John giving you a call.
How you doing, John?
was tweeting up a storm earlier in regards to the Mojave Desert phone, and I just wanted to know if you guys wanted me to spoil the secret.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We've been trying to spoil the secret. Hey, John, is this you that did the Trump picture?
No.
It's another John?
I can't take credit.
Okay.
That's a different John.
That's pretty cool.
No, I can't take credit for that. But basically, back before hacking was a thing, there was this thing called phreaking. It was fooling around with phones and, trying to make free phone calls and do
the blue boxes,
things along those lines.
Absolutely.
Exactly. If you call the number, and as as it's telling you about the conference call, if you create the 2600 dial tone, if you can recreate the 2600 dial tone, which is easy to do with computer software,
right,
it sends you into an elite room. And in that elite room is where the real discussion is going on, and that's where it's a much more interesting conference room. I think that a lot of people have found this number, so they're just going into because you can choose 1 through however many numbers, but the key is to do the 2600 dial tone. As soon as you initiate that dial tone, that's when you actually get to listen to some pretty interesting stuff.
What have you heard? What have you heard?
Basically, I've heard a little bit of everything, I'll say that I've heard everything to nothing. But there's definitely some clues in there about the entire cicada, and and a lot of interesting things. But since I'm trying to solve the puzzle and I don't want to ruin that for myself, I won't go too deep into that.
Right.
But I will say that there's valuable information once you actually go ahead and you access that, if you access the elite room, as they call it.
Now, where are you right now? Are you working on 2017, or are you still dealing with 16 and 15 and 14?
Well, no, I'm actually dealing on the most recent. The thing is that I remember fooling around with this back in 2012 when this was first released on 4chan.
Right.
But the thing is that when we got really close to solving it, whoever at that time basically stated that because we were doing it as a group effort,
right,
that the entire challenge was disqualified.
Right.
They were looking for a person to do it, on a very solo kind of basis.
Right.
Which is, all things considered, is difficult because some of the clues are spread out around the world.
Right.
It's almost like geocaching with a little bit of hacking, with a little bit of cryptography. You have to have a very, very interesting skill set. But I decided, since this was a whole new one, and actually in all reality, it's a lot easier because I've already progressed pretty decently so far on the 2017.
What do you do for a job? What do you do for a job? What do you do?
I work in law enforcement.
You work? Okay. What side of it? Nobody knows who you are. Okay. So.
Well, I was going to say, I've been a career law enforcement officer. I work for I work for the federal government.
Really? Okay, that's cool. You work in law enforcement for the federal government, so FBI?
Well, I'm not going to say, which 3-letter alphabet soup I work for, but it's a 3-letter alphabet soup.
Okay, and you listen to this show?
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Do you talk about this show with your coworkers?
No, I don't. That might be frowned upon, but I will say this much. Me and colleagues have attended DEF CON before, where they get to play the Spot the Fed game.
Absolutely. Have you been spotted?
I have yet to be spotted.
You're not spotted because you don't look like a Fed?
I was going to say, you could go into it, in the traditional uniform, if you would, the suit or the business attire, or you could go kind of looking like a hippie and just kind of be in a much more relaxed environment, and that's more my approach.
Well, I got to tell you, I have, I went to the Hope Conference this year, or last year, 2016, and I am the most fed-looking Fed you can ever imagine, right? Right? And what's funny is, that's just the way that I look. I look like a friggin' cop, or I don't look cool. I thought that I looked cool. I'm just a dude, right? I'm just out to hang out with all of you guys, and this is what. And I'm telling you, I might as well have glowed in the dark walking around the Hope Conference. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to hang out. I could have been throwing $100 bills around, and I wouldn't have made any friends. And
did you have a news media badge?
Oh yeah, of course I did. I had a media badge.
That's usually a big deterrent, too.
Yeah, there was, at the Hope Conference, I was told by the people that put on the conference there, I think the particular badge that I had, there were 10. 10. That's it, right? Now, so you're walking around the conference and you're looking at everybody's colors. The people that ran the conference, I think they were gold. I had a red badge on that had the words, I have it here somewhere, I could probably pull it up. And it said the word, I think it said swimming pool in red, or pool, so swimming pool. And that was it. And so those were the very exclusive all-access media badges. But when you're walking around the Hope Conference, there's thousands and thousands of people there. There were purple badges or blue badges. There were no red. So here I am looking like a Fed, walking around with this glow-in-the-dark red badge on. It was like, man, it was rough. Now, this is the thing. I have seen Spot the Fed. I've watched the game many times on the web. And it's either very obvious, but there have been some Feds there that I have not figured out. I saw a Spot the Fed where it was run by somebody from the NSA, right? And NSA spook, he's up there, and he brings up 4 girls up on the stage, and he's like, okay, let's play Spot the Fed with these 4, right? I got it wrong. I picked who I thought was, and it wasn't. And it's tough these days who looks like a Fed and who doesn't. So you think you can walk around pretty anonymously, no pun intended, at DEF CON?
No pun intended. Yeah, definitely. I have.
It's a badge of honor, isn't it, to be spotted?
Well, it is, and I actually see it more as a badge of honor to not be spotted. I kind of like to just go undetected, to participate in all the different events, to play, the little capture the flag computer games that they've got going on,
right?
And really being able to, to talk, discuss, and learn and recruit.
Now, do you deal with cybercrime? Is that your thing?
Yes, that is my thing.
Interesting. And cybercrime, one of the things that I enjoy about DEF CON, it wasn't discussed as much as at the Hope Conference, but at DEF CON, they want to let everybody know exactly what they're doing out there, that the Feds aren't necessarily, to be feared. They're out there dealing with, sex crimes and pedophilia and child pornography and that side of things and those cyber crimes, as well as the banking industry and so forth. So when I say that you deal with cyber crime, I think that's a really cool thing. It's a noble thing, and congrats, So
well, thank you.
Now let's flip this around a little bit. You said that it would be frowned upon if your buddies found out that you were listening to this show, right?
Sure.
Sure. Why do you think that would be? Because if one of your friends said to you, "Hey, man, I listened to Jimmy Church last night, and it was a great show," you wouldn't flip out. Why would it be the opposite?
Well, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, "Jimmy who? Oh, I've never heard of that. I'd have to look into it." It's the same reason why we have to sign forms to say we won't access WikiLeaks. We have to sign a bunch of forms stating that we won't go to certain sites.
Really?
It's kind of one of those. Yeah, and this is stuff that you can actually pull, on WikiLeaks. The forms that I've signed stating that I would not access WikiLeaks.
Right.
But at the same time, it's listening to. Listening to certain radio shows that deal, in manners that I personally enjoy, it's frowned upon. It's definitely frowned upon. So,
did you listen to Gregg Housh earlier?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Now, what do you think of Gregg?
I think he's a very interesting character. I'd love to meet him in person.
Oh, he's way beyond cool. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, he's taller than you think too, as well. He's a pretty big dude, pretty big guy. But and so, what about whatever agency you work for? It doesn't matter. Are you guys on the good side or on the negative side of Anonymous, or do you guys just let it run its course?
With an organization like Anonymous, that's it has no core leadership. They kind of just come up with an idea, and sometimes that idea, we see it from our perspective as they're doing us a favor, and at times we'll see it as them doing us a disfavor. But 9 out of 10 times, we kind of just let it, let them do what they need to do, because they open up a lot of avenues. They're like, they're almost like recruits that we don't have to pay.
Yeah, that's an interesting view. Well, I mean, the thing is, and what is misunderstood about Anonymous, and I think that you're driving this point home, what is misunderstood about Anonymous is their core belief in their loose structure that they have is good. They haven't done anything bad. Right, they haven't done anything. Certainly nothing worth going over, to prison for or anything like. They're not doing. Nobody. You know what I mean? Their core values are absolutely with foundation. Right? There's not. It's not a negative organization. I think Anonymous is cool. If you stay within their. The original Legion code of ethics and code of honor, and you stay within that, they're spot on the money.
Yeah, I was going to say. The only thing is, though, is that they've had other branches, like the LulzSec, where they did the entire breach of Sony, and at that point, that starts to fall into industrial espionage, and then you start to really get yourself into some white-collar, federal prison time.
Right.
It's definitely a slippery slope.
But you have to. There's that part of it, but it is why Sony happened, right? That now. So when you look at it like that, and you go back to or with PayPal, and you start to back up and look at why they did certain things, it was for the good. It wasn't. It wasn't for bad reasons. If you can't go and donate to a company or to a belief that you believe in, and in which case back then, I think it was WikiLeaks, they went and shut down PayPal and MasterCard.
Activism.
Yeah,
that's the basis of hacktivism.
And you have to say that they really believe in well, going back to the LulzSec stuff. And John, I want to thank you for the phone call. I'm looking here. I've got about 30 seconds. Going back to all the original lulls, and I've talked to Gabriella about this, Bella and Greg and others within the organization, that it went from something that was fun, that they were bored and they were just making themselves laugh, to a political movement. And they didn't expect this. That's the thing. And they're also dealing with that aspect now, too, as well. So it cannot be easy, and especially when you don't have a leader, right?
Yes, especially when there's no structure.
Right.
That's just it. Yeah.
Hey, John, and I know it's not your real name, but thank you for the phone call. and
my pleasure.
Yeah, and next week, let's do a follow-up on Cicada and keep this thing moving forward. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend.
You too. There you go. You never know who's going to call in to Fade to Black, do you? That's what I'm talking about. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, 323-825-5045. Thursday night, Fadernight. So which agency do you think he worked for? He's a cool dude, right? I'll be right back. This is Fade to Black. Stay with me.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my... It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. Mm-hmm. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code TSL.
Would odors, mold, and mildew describe your basement or crawl space? It doesn't have to be that way. Transform them into a fresh, healthy, usable one with the technologically advanced Wave moisture control units. The computerized operation maximizes moisture control and also expels harmful radon, combustion gases, and numerous other pollutants. Dehumidifiers are old technology that do nothing for air quality and waste energy. Wave units are intelligent, self-monitoring, do not need maintenance, and will save you hundreds in electricity. Wave units are still running effectively over 15 years. They've been tested and installed in public and military housing and by property managers nationwide. Buy a unit now, and if your home is not fresher and drier, you can return it for a full refund for up to 12 months. What have you got to lose? Call now. 1-888-618-WAVE. 1-888-618-WAVE. Or visit mydryhome.com. That's mydryhome.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Josh in Texas with his Samsung TV. What's up, everybody? I hope you got tape over those cameras. Oh, man. So I just wandered down the hall, everybody, into Rita's studio. And Rita said, great show tonight. And so when we get home, you can have pizza and Haagen-Dazs in bed. And we're going to binge watch. How cool is that? It has been a wonderful show. Absolutely wonderful. 323-825-5045. Thank you, John, for that phone call. Very interesting, if that's your real name. I jest. I doubt it. Great phone call. Very interesting. Yeah. Cicada 3301. And now we're going to jump over to Sweden. Maria, what are you doing?
Hey, Jimmy, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, but that's cool. You stretch it out, and then when you come and visit, you just bring the good stuff. Now
you're excited to hear from me.
now I picked up.
Yeah, last time that was a mess.
That was a mess. So I have been watching, just to let you know, I've been watching your tweets on the Cicada 3301 thing. And now, before we get to that, let me ask you this. Did you know of 3301 before I brought it up on the show?
Absolutely not.
How? Which is great, isn't it? Because you learned something from this show, right?
Right.
Now, how crazy and how fun has this rabbit hole been?
It's definitely crazy. I love researching stuff, but I am definitely not smart enough for this.
I know, isn't it? It's way beyond. And that's, you know what, though? That's what is very interesting. I'm not smart enough. I'm a doofus, man. Let's not make any... I don't pretend to be anything but just a fat, pasty, white dude that sits in a dark room every night and talks on a microphone. Let's make that perfectly clear here. But, yeah, and so for me... I find that's one of the most interesting parts. And when I was talking to Gregg Housh, I know that you heard that earlier.
Yeah.
I brought, before I spoke to Gregg, that's pretty cool too. Just calling him out of the blue, and he actually picked up. I thought that was pretty cool.
Very cool.
Is this? I brought this up on the show last night, maybe the night before. That the elements of what is involved here, they don't want a group effort. They want a singular person. And a singular person to figure out this puzzle has to have those skill sets that I started to lay out a couple of days ago that are daunting skill sets. Each one of them individually, right? If you have a music background and you're able to see through that musical portion,
right.
You have to. You don't have to be a musician. You don't have to, just know MIDI or programming or sampling or be a talented musician. No, you have to be a guy or girl that listens to that says, "Hey, wait a minute. There's two songs playing here. Okay, now we need to figure out how to separate the songs. And we have to be able to get the MIDI values. MIDI values are numbers assigned to notes because that's how MIDI runs. And then you have to figure out which notes are significant or not in the two songs. That's just one little fraction of what you need to be as a person, right?
I would never be able to do that.
It's crazy. And
I have a little bit of music background, and
sure.
I would not be able to do that.
Sure. Okay, so what have you found out so far?
Well, nothing really. I got as far as the pyramid, and then Rita showed me the saying that was on the gravestone, the pyramid.
Right.
So I looked that up, and I saw that it was a poem by Byron. And then I was looking at the number 7 kept coming up throughout everything. So I was looking at Byron was a baron, the 6th in line, baron, and his daughter, which would be number 7, even though not a baron, was considered the very first computer programmer.
Keep going. I'm listening.
I thought that was kind of interesting. So she was the very first computer programmer, and she programmed with something called notes, which made me think of music.
Keep going. I'm listening.
That's as far as I got.
I got you. Okay, I'm looking for.
Then I went to sleep so I could get up for the show.
Okay, I can't find it here. I must have stashed this in another folder. Oh man, I wanted to post the pyramid image. Oh, don't tell me. I'm looking at.
I have a picture of the pyramid itself, but
no. This is
earlier. The pyramid with the engraving.
Ah, man, I cannot. It's not here as brand. I don't know what I did with it. Let me see here. No. Okay, I had. I thought I had it as 3301, and it's not coming up. It's not popping up as brand. I did a snapshot today. Okay, you know what? I might be able to redo this. Anyway, the pyramid. You're talking about the pyramid for his. The
brand pyramid.
Right. Okay. Now I've got it here. Okay, everybody. I'm just going to grab another screenshot. I'm going to do this in real time. Boom. Done. This is what pops up. And I was talking about this earlier. And it's completely marked. Okay.
I just retweeted it.
No, you haven't seen this one yet. Wait till you see this.
Okay.
This is what pops up in Google Earth. And this time I'm going to... Okay. Oh, man, this is just retarded that I'm doing this live on the radio. Okay, done. Now, let me jump over to Twitter. Everybody take a look at this. This is what pops up when you do this search with the address 3301 Main Street. Now, how I found this, it's all tied back to Brand and... L Brand and his company and a mall that is out here in Southern California. So here it is. I'm done doing this. I want to get this up on Twitter as quick as possible because this sounds retarded. Okay, there it is. Now, go and look at that image. What is that? And look at, you see the address? 3301 East Main Street, right?
How did you come up with that?
In my Cicada 3301 Brand Glendale.
Just because you knew Brand?
Well, I was going through some of the clues that were there. Glendale is right next to...
Right, I know you were near there.
Yeah, it's right here, Brand Boulevard, the Pyramid, and so forth. So that's it. And his company owns this mall, or... I shouldn't say his company. He's been dead for 60 years, almost 70 years. But his company is associated with this. But the point is, what are the odds of 3301 landing? Look at, you see the marker there for Google?
Yes,
it lands on a frigging glass pyramid.
Yeah. Interesting.
What? And I saw that today, and I just about fell out of my chair. Nobody else is talking about this yet. All of this is tied right back to the Mojave phone booth in its own weird way. I don't know what's going on here, but his mausoleum, his grave being a pyramid, this address, Cicada 3301, and everything else, and you punch 330 and you get this, and boom, and this pops up. I don't know what's going on. And, the roof of a mall. Yes, Don, yes.
Well, I wonder what that has to do.
Yeah, and it just that what I am showing you here, this picture, that's zoomed in. You back all the way out, and you can see the red marker. You just zoom in, and the red marker is on a frigging glass pyramid. And so I did a bunch of searches and looked at the company history, and all of that is tripping me out too. The whole thing is tripping me out. It's it comes down to phone numbers and area codes and Glendale and brand. It's such a twisted thing to unravel. I don't know.
So did I go in the wrong direction with Byron?
No. Right now, with my tiny brain, there is no wrong direction.
I have no clue exactly. I feel the same way.
IPD just said Byron's girlfriend was Ada Lovelace.
No, that was his daughter.
Oh, that was his daughter. Okay.
And Ada Lovelace is considered the very first computer programmer.
Right.
His daughter.
Yeah. Now that's
which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's all related. See, that's the thing. As we're starting to, I love the hive mind. I love this audience. Everybody is smart, and just getting little pieces to the puzzle with all of us together, we're about the smartest, most intimidating group out there on planet Earth. Man, the Fadernauts are the best.
I just talked to somebody on the phone number.
You
the
called?
Mojave number.
You did? Who did you speak to?
Some guy in the Midwest that was working on it. And I said, well, how far have you gotten? And he started going off, and I mean, it was like he was talking a different language.
Right.
I mean, I could not, seriously, I am not a techno brain. I have an IQ, and I can do logic, and I can do mathematics, but I'm not a techno brain.
Yeah. What?
So he was just going on about stuff, and then he asked me a question. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he says, well, where did you get to? So I started telling him about the pyramid and Byron, and he got really excited when I started talking about Byron and his daughter.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Did you bring up Fade to Black?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you got to bring up Fade to Black. See, and there was another interesting thing that what Gregg Housh said earlier. I kept saying that this is an NSA thing because they are looking for supreme, unique talent, and once that gets discovered, whoever this talent is, you're never going to hear from them again. Now, that's my take, but to hear, did you just see what Dan Lopez posted? The next lead takes us to Antarctica and the pyramids of Atlantis.
Right.
I swear, we're right on the brink of that.
I don't think this time that they're looking for recruits. I don't get that feeling this time.
Well, but what Greg said, Dan Logan just said, what's everybody's take on the countdown clock on the Cicada site? Ends June 1st. That is look.
Oh, my God. Check this out. Jimmy, sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
But the guy you just talked to?
Uh-huh.
John?
Uh-huh.
He says he's the guy I was talking to on the phone. Get out.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. This is
Get out. No way.
Yep.
I mean, the odds of that. I was talking to John earlier as I was posting all of the things I was thinking as I was going through the research. And John was the only one basically responding to me.
So it was John. It was the NSA. So this is now. Let me go back to what Greg was saying. Right, that nobody's figured it out. Number one, that's the first thing. Second, if you are somebody that has this skill set that can actually complete this on any level and get access, that's it. You'll never be heard from again, and you will not. There is no reason and. This is what's important here. Everybody's missing what I'm trying to say. Listen to my words. If you figure this puzzle out, we'll never know. We'll never know. You will not go public. You will not do it. You will not say, hey, I solved Cicada. No. You are at another level on this planet that we don't know anything about. It's a whole nother. You are a singular person. There are probably a couple of you walking around on this planet. That's it. We'll never hear from you again.
Right. You'd have to know so many different.
You are unique.
So many different skill sets.
You are unique. You are who governments need or corporations need, and or the Illuminati, the cabal. You are going to get snagged. You are never going to be heard from again. I guarantee you. I'm telling you right now, I will take my money and go to Vegas and I'll lay this bet down. Anybody can challenge me on this. If you solve Cicada 3301, you are not going to post a video on YouTube about it. No. Now, really quick before we run out of time, the clock that is running down is going to June 1st. There are some things that are interestingly tied to that. You mentioned the number 7s. Did you know that Donald Trump, when he was in the Oval Office on his first day signing the executive orders, he was 70 years old, 7 months, and 7 days old on that day. Now, that's pretty trippy. Right?
That is trippy. And well, let me throw something else in there related to Trump. The first puzzle was the first year that he decided to run for presidency.
That's also, there's a lot of little Trump tie-ins here. There really are. So
I know
he's the Antichrist. 7777777. Yeah. But so that's the other interesting part is how the ability to tie, when I say everything is connected, right? And you go back to things like theories of the 6 degrees of separation, it's not too difficult to tie anybody to any given subject or anything. It's not difficult. You can go and get, like Will Smith's picture is right here, right? All right, it just posted. I'm just pulling this out of the air because Will Smith is there. The 6 degrees of separation from me to Will Smith, it's 1 degree, right? And so to tie Will Smith to Fade to Black, or to tie Will Smith to Cicada, to tie, you can immediately do it on so many different levels very quickly. So the Trump tie-ins to this are easy. Just like I could tie you, Maria, into this game if I needed to. It's not that difficult. It's not. Now, the brand...
So you don't think there's any Trump relation to it at all?
No, I don't. Look, you want me to tell you why? It's too obvious. It's too... the easiest thing...
Because we came up with it?
No. The easiest thing, the first thing you would think of with a countdown timer is that this is some ominous warning to some kind of doomsday event. There's something cataclysmic that's going to go down. Wall Street's going to crash. There's going to be an earthquake in Washington, D.C. Whatever. Something. That's easy, right? That's an easy thing. So, no, I don't think it's that at all. That at all. No, you know what that clock, I'll tell you something a little more simple. Is the countdown clock to the next clue, just to the next part of the puzzle. The website changes. Something else pops up on the screen. Some crazy number, some other cipher, some other series of numbers, and it'll look, I don't know, but it could be that. It could be that. The PGP key that Gregg is talking about, that I think for everybody needs to surface.
Right. That hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't happened yet. Now, or in either direction, though, right?
Well, that's another indication that maybe this is not the same
group of
puzzle.
people. But see,
this is not the same kind of thing.
Right. But hold on and listen to what I'm saying. The PGP key hasn't shown up to say that this isn't official either, like they did in 2016, right? So that it's been mysteriously missing. They used the PGP key before to prove that other games weren't the real Cicada. So there you go. All right, Maria, let me grab one more call here before I roll credits. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll talk to you next week, and keep the clues going. Don't let your foot off the gas.
Okay, thanks.
I'll talk to you. Maria from Sweden. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Lori Brooks.
Hey, Lori Brooks. How are you?
I'm good. Came back from England.
Yeah, it's been a year or two since you've called into the show. How are you?
Yeah, about 6 months. I'm doing good. Came back to Texas and hot over here. Everything's going okay. So what's going on, Jimmy?
It's all good on my end. Didn't you go and get married?
Oh, yeah. That was kind of a thing. Then anyway, I had to listen to your show at 3 o'clock in the morning over there.
But you did, though.
Completely sucked, dude. I actually waited up one night, and I stayed up all night. And I was like, oh, God, I got to listen to Jimmy. And I stayed up till 3 a.m. I was like, dang, in England, you got to watch it at 3 a.m., listen to your show at 3 a.m. So, yeah, it was a little tough there for a minute.
Yeah. You know, whenever I have guests on, people need to understand. They may not get it. But when I have a guest on from England or wherever, Spain or whatever, over there, that it's literally 4:30 in the morning for them by the time that they...
Right? Oh, my God. I was so sleepy trying to listen to your show, I swear. I was trying to listen to it, and I was like, oh, God, I can't. I don't think I can do it. I can't stay awake this long. Like, for real. But I'm glad to be back in Texas, and, I'm back with my sisters and my family and everything, so it's all good, everything good in the hood. And I'm glad to be able to listen to you at 11 o'clock at night instead of 4 a.m.
Thank you so much, and welcome back, Lori.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to give you a shout-out and say hello and say I'm back, and I can listen to your show every night now. So thank you very much, Jimmy. I appreciate everything you do. All of your work, I mean, you're awesome. I love you. You're amazing. Really, all that you do, you're just amazing. The work that you do, the guests that you have, it's really amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm back, so I'll be listening to you, brother.
Thank you so much, Lori, and again, welcome back. Thank you. And I'm watching Twitter, everybody saying, hey, Lori, welcome back. There you go. Now, I've got 1 minute to get this in. Trip on this. Extensive plans, speaking of England, extensive plans for managing the immediate aftermath of the death of Britain's longest reigning monarch have been revealed. That's right. When George VI passed away, the news was delivered with the words Hyde Park Corner. The code words to announce the passing of Queen Elizabeth II will be London Bridge is down. Sir Christopher Geit, the Queen's private secretary, and former diplomat who was given a second knighthood in 2014, will be the first official to deliver the news of her death. The Prime Minister will be awoken, if he's not already up or she, by civil servants who will say London Bridge is down, a code word aimed at keeping switchboards at Buckingham Palace from learning the news. The Foreign Office Global Response Center, which is based at an undisclosed address in London, will deliver the news to 15 governments outside of the UK where the Queen is head of state, as well as the 35 Commonwealth states where the monarch has been a symbolic leader since 1945. While the BBC has been the first to break the news of the royal death since the 1930s, the news will be, on this occasion, delivered as a news flash to the Press Association and then global media thereafter. There you have it. I got to get out of here, man. We're running out of time right now. I got to go. This has been Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader Night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you to everybody that called in tonight. Thank you to Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Of course, for Gregg Housh jumping in like he did tonight. One of the smartest guys on planet Earth. The NSA called the show tonight. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show's produced by Hilton J. Powell, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Fady Bidell. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission for Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm taking the weekend off with Rita. Tonight, it's pizza and Haagen-Dazs in bed. Paint that picture, right? Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.